Hello, loves. It's Anne Marie with AM Astrology, and I am here just to talk about a big transit that we have coming up next week, or maybe the week after. Today's the 5th. It's on January 20th, so in 2 weeks, when the Sun conjuncts Pluto at the anaretic degree, 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Capricorn. And then just after that, the Sun and then Pluto will transgress into, or whatever the word is, into Aquarius. Big, exciting changes of energy. And so let's take a look at the chart. So I have here, and it's set for Washington, D.C. So again, January 20th, 8:45 a.m. in Washington, D.C. Wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Here is Sun conjunct Pluto at 29 degrees, 59 minutes. Now in this chart, it is in the 12th house. Things happening behind the scenes is the first thing I think of. And the fact that it's the anaretic degree of Capricorn, we know that Capricorn is all about structures and foundations and traditions. And we know, because this is at the 29th degree, 59 minutes, that we're getting ready to have a major change. When the Sun then leaves Capricorn and goes into Aquarius, which is its sign of detriment because it rules Leo. And so as it goes into Aquarius, all of a sudden the Sun is in detriment. It's not as happy. It's as far away from home as it can possibly be. And so it's taking on this shrouded cape almost, where it's not illuminated things. This is why I think, like Saturn, of course, is a ruler of Aquarius, and Saturn is all about darkness and secrets and hiding things and waiting for the right time. I always think of it's about time for Saturn. You know, that's the phrase that I always use for Saturn. It's about time, whether you're saying it's about time you've been late, or it's about time. How are you using your time? Are you using your time wisely? Are you being responsible with your time? So the Sun, though, is about illumination and here and now. It's like that, you know, you just think the instant, what's happening? You know, the Sun comes up every morning and it sets every evening, you know, so that there's consistency there and there's no delay. You just know. But because the Sun is in Aquarius, it's, like I said, it's in its detriment, house of detriment. The other thing that's interesting about this chart is that the moon is at 29 degrees, 52 minutes of Taurus, which is its sign of exaltation. So it's getting ready to change as well. And it's getting ready to leave its exaltation, where it's, you know, very happy. It has all the joy, all the benefits of ownership without any of the responsibilities. That's kind of what exaltation is. You know, I think of a story of my boss. He has a beautiful home in Mexico, and he a few times has given me the gift of a vacation when I get to go and stay in his house in Mexico. And he has a butler and a chef who are there for me while I'm there. So it's like I have my own butler and my own chef cooking me meals and taking me wherever I want to go, but they're not really my butler and they're not really my chef. It's just I'm in exaltation then. I'm on vacation at my boss's permission. And so these folks, you know, treat me just like I was the owner when I'm not. And so it's just like this wonderful benefit. But the moon is getting ready to leave that situation. It's time to go home, time to face reality and move into Gemini, which I don't think the moon's very happy in Gemini because like I said, it's leaving its sign of exaltation, Taurus, and then it's sandwiched here in the middle with Gemini. And then the next sign over, this is considered like the 12th sign from its home sign because the moon rules Cancer. And so it's the 12th house, sort of, before it gets home. It's gone all the way around the chart and it's exhausted. And can you think of anything more exhausting than Gemini? I mean, the moon is pretty fast. The moon is, you know, feelings and moving and tides and everything. But when it gets into Gemini, it's just like, okay, that's too much, because it's uncomfortable between its exaltation and its rulership or its domicile. Just too busy, too loud, too much information. And that's what we're going to be dealing with, I think, when this, it's also the opening trine, it's applying trine to that new moon that we looked at in my last video. So this cycle, this lunation cycle, this is the opening trine, which is an easy flow. It's like when things start taking effect, you start seeing the effects of what the intentions were that you set here. But because we're moving into this change, both the sun and the moon are leaving, either one is leaving its sign of exaltation and going into a super uncomfortable place, but it's not detriment or fall, it's just not a comfortable place. And then the sun is leaving an okay place, going into its detriment. So these changes suggest, you know, move from okay circumstances to not okay. And that is pretty significant. Now, the moon, so I already talked about when the sun moves into Aquarius, it's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is here in the first house in this chart, pretty strong and angular, with Neptune there. They're both in Pisces, you know, which is a water sign. We've been dealing with this ambiguity, fogginess, uncertainty, where Saturn's trying to get a grasp on things, and Neptune's like, yeah, no, this is Neptune. This is Pisces. We're just going to stay foggy. You know, boundaries. No, we can't have boundaries in water. Water doesn't stay within a boundary unless it's in like a capsule, and then even then, you know, it can expand. So there's just this struggle that's going on here in the first house. This is also a 29 degrees. So this is curious because the sun is ruling, the sun is at 29 degrees and it's ruling the descendant, which is at 29 degrees Leo. So there's an identity change going on here between the identity and the other, like our identity and the other. And I say our, this is Washington, D.C., so forgive me for talking about the United States. And I'm not looking at, I'm not comparing it to the Sibley chart or anything. I'm just talking about this specific chart. But there is an idea of change of identity, or focusing on, you know, who are we really, and what is our relationship to the other, and that these things are going to change. So what else did I want to just talk about here? When the moon moves into Gemini, it will be ruled by Mercury. So it's going from being ruled by Venus to being ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is in Capricorn. Mercury is kind of a trickster, a magician. He takes on the character of whoever he's connected with. And I say he, actually it's, in, you know, the gender neutral, Mercury is whatever he wants to be, whatever it wants to be. And it is pretty close to conjunct to Mars there, and applying to that conjunction, because Mercury is picking up speed now. Mars is in exaltation in Capricorn. So Mars is enjoying the benefits of that vacation with the butler and the chef. And so, you know, and Mars in Capricorn, I saw something on X today where somebody said, you know, which Mars is stronger, in Capricorn or in Scorpio? And there was, you know, quite a bit of, you know, back and forth about it. I think Patrick Watson stated that he has some sort of system where it says, you know, what kind of all the dignities that each planet gets, and when he puts them into his that program, Mars is definitely stronger in Scorpio because it has trigon dignities to the water signs, where it doesn't have that in the earth signs. also in this chart, it's a day chart. And so Mars then becomes the greater malefic. It's the malefic contrary to sect. So Mars is a little bit angrier in a day ruled chart. So we have that too. And so therefore Mercury is going to be picking up on that angrier side of Mars. And so the moon may be feeling not only irritated and agitated about being in all of a sudden this, Gemini, moving fast, all this information, too much, overstimulation. But now Mercury is going to be kind of irritable because Mars is the malefic contra to sect. So that's going to be a change. What else do we have going on here? We have Venus in a square to Neptune. It's a separating square, but she's getting ready to change signs here soon. I think she will be in Capricorn within a week of this, before the end of the month, I believe that she will be in Capricorn. So she's getting ready for that change from fire to earth. And she's in this square to Neptune, which is, she is exalted in Pisces. So there's reception there, and that doesn't change with the relationship to Neptune. But as she gets into Capricorn, then she's going to be sextile Saturn. She won't catch up with Mercury. She eventually is going to catch up to Mars, but it won't be until they're in Aquarius. So, there's this idea of, what do we really want? What if I could have anything, if I was in my exaltation here, if I could have anything, what would it be? What do I really want? But I'm here. This is a closing square. I think it's even called an overcoming square because it's at the 10th. So she's ready to get to her exaltation. She's ready to tie up these loose ends. This is called the crises of belief square. And so it's like, what process do we need to let go of? She's having to consider those things. What she's learned in her relationship to Neptune in the past year. Now she's on the closing square. So she's like, it's time to let go of a belief or what she's been thinking of, what she's been believing. I think because Sagittarius, it does feel very much like a belief or a knowledge or a worldview. And she's having to say, what's not working? What's not working that I thought worked before? Now I've learned a lot since I've gone around the chart. I've learned a lot. She had her retrograde in Leo, and is that right? The summer of love, her retrograde in Leo. She's learned a lot. That was a fire sign, of course, too. So she's hot and bothered and ready to let go of the things that aren't working anymore, which brings us back to Pluto in Capricorn saying, I have warned you. I have learned so much while I've been going through Capricorn since 2008. And I have brought your attention to a number of things that need to change. And so I've made it ugly, I've made it difficult, I've made it uncomfortable so that you're aware of the things that need to change. And as I move into Aquarius, things are really going to change because air, even though it's a fixed sign, air is fast. And so it's like a fixed mindset that these changes are going to happen. And so then in September, he'll tip his toe back into Capricorn to say, now the hammer falls. But most of us should have an idea in our own lives what has changed or transformed since 2008, or we're aware of what's happened and changed in the world for sure. And those things are going to be finalized now. Not immediately. It's not instant, but the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and there's no turning back. The changes are going to happen. So get ready for these changes. Like I said, this is on January 20th. This is what it looks like on that day. I can't think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's it. Happy Friday. It's Friday while I'm recording this. So hopefully you have a wonderful weekend coming up, and we will see you next time. Please like and share and subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you again soon. Thanks.